And I got my tea, which I'm waiting for to cool down. And we're at day 25 of 20 of the 31 days of live horror. Holy crap! I can't believe we got this far, but we did. And congratulations, everybody that's been along so far for the ride. So tonight we're looking at a Scream Factory title. We're going to talk about a couple different things. My longer video is going to be tomorrow night because I'm off. I'm not off tomorrow, but I'm off the day after tomorrow. So let's let people know that I'm here. Because I like to do this when you guys are here now. I like to break the third wall, fourth wall, whatever you call it. I like to break all the walls. Hey, Andy. Doing pretty good, actually. One more day of work and then I'm off for a day, so that's pretty cool. Hi there, I am live right now in the movie library about to talk about a certain Scream Factory release and Vinegar Syndrome. And I've got a kind of a question for you guys as well. So, coming up, live, right now. There we go. How's that? So, as you saw in the title, I said Scream Factory. The reason I just said Scream Factory, I didn't say the title of the film, because even though the title is innocent, YouTube, you know how YouTube is? It hits you with stuff, with silly stuff. If I put the wrong picture of me holding a video up on here, a movie, and I don't mean like anything with a raunchy cover, just sometimes with a regular cover, that gets flagged and my videos get demonetized. So that's why you see a lot of videos now which thumbnail is just my movie library. That's what I've had to do. And even that sometimes doesn't work. So last night I watched The Seduction, which was way, way better than I thought this was going to be. I thought this would be kind of cool and kind of a fun, kind of a time waster. But there was a lot behind this film. And there's a bit of like cool trivia to mention here as well. This film has quite the pedigree. In front of the camera and behind the camera. And it's got some names that might actually surprise you. And since you guys are so quiet, which I hope you don't stay quiet like this, let's let Instagram know that we're here. Let's do it. Hey, iFilm. Welcome. There we go. Ready again? I am live now in the movie library. So if you want to come and join us, we're going to talk Scream Factory, Vinegar Syndrome. And I've got a question that I kind of need an answer to. There. We did it together. We're a team. Hey, Indie Phantom. Welcome. I watched last night. I was going to watch Omen 2. And it was a little bit too deep for me. I'm not lying. For last night. So instead, I sat down and I said, okay, I'm going to watch The Seduction. It's a movie that I haven't seen since VHS days. And I forgive you if you saw this title somewhere and you, hey, boredom, and kind of passed it up. Because if you did, you're missing out. Hey, Adrian. This is way, way better than I even expected it to be. This, of course, this is probably best known for being the first movie to deal with stalking. And it stars Morgan Fairchild. And I can say, without a doubt, I'm a big Morgan Fairchild fan. I remember Flamingo Road. And was she in the Yellow Rose of Texas as well? I think she was. But this was when she was doing Flamingo Road. I'm pretty sure it was. Anyway, so this was her first film. You can't tell it from her acting, though. Although she's never gotten credit for it, Morgan Fairchild is actually an incredible actress. And she comes from the stage, and it shows in the work that she does. Oh man, that's too bad. That happens though. Airports. Well, I love Andrew Stevens. Andrew Stevens probably does. This is his first bad guy role, and I normally am used to seeing him play the good guy character, or at least kind of like the intense good guy character. He did a lot of those, like he produced a lot. He did a lot, like produced a lot of films, especially if the '90s boom of like the kind of like the erotic thrillers. We're going to talk about that in a minute, actually, because I have a question for you guys. But this here has some pretty damn good like pedigree behind it. So it's directed by David Schmoller, and I love The Fury. You know I love De Palma, and David Schmoller. It's kind of comical. See, David Schmoller, you're probably going to remember that name for a little film called Tourist Trap with Tanya Roberts, which I really like, and Chuck Connors. So, little fact I found out through the features on here. By the way, this has great features. Originally, John Carpenter was supposed to direct Tourist Trap. He wanted to direct it, but instead, he got stuck directing a little film called Halloween. And he was kind of bummed about it at the time because he really wanted to do Tourist Trap. He liked the script a lot. So, things you learn on special features, on discs. But cast-wise, it is Michael Sarrazin, who was fantastic in everything he's in. Vince Edwards, if you're older like me, then your mom or dad probably knew him from Ben Casey. Oh, did you really? I love Tourist Trap. It's one of my favorites. It freaks me out a bit, that opening with the mannequins. Andrew Stevens doing an amazing role in this film. Andrew Stevens kills it in this movie. Colleen Camp was always incredible, and she's great in this as well. Colleen Camp kind of reminds me of, oh God, you know PJ Souls from like Halloween. There you go. PJ Souls from Halloween, Rock and Roll High School, that type of thing. I don't know if PJ Souls and Colleen Camp ever did a movie together, but wouldn't that be awesome? Like, just think of their personalities and how kind of like how like bubbly they both are. That's an awesome pairing. Also, we got Kevin Brophy, and Kevin Brophy was in Hell Night, and he kills it here as an assistant. Everybody's on par. And basically it's a simple plot. Morgan Fairchild plays a newscaster, an anchor woman, and she's from the beginning of the film. Hey Ryan. Right from the beginning of this film here, she's being stalked by him. Like, she's getting like phone calls that he actually lives just, she doesn't know this, but he lives close by, and he's looking at her through a telephoto lens on his camera. If you're a fan of Morgan Fairchild and extremely gorgeous, amazingly beautiful women, yes, she is in this, and yes, this is a David Schmoller film, so she is quite nude in this film for quite a bit. But it works for more than one reason, not just for the titillation of nudity type thing, but it also works because of the fact that she's being stalked, and she's a old lady that's comfortable with, in her own home, as she should be able to be with her own body. But it gives an extra like bit of vulnerability to her character when you know that she doesn't know, but that she's being watched. This is extremely well done. It's never slow. It doesn't like, you would think it, this thing runs here at like 104 minutes. You got to see this again. And it's incredible. I mean, the tension keeps mounting, and it gets increasing. But they make a really smart decision early on in the film. With a lot of these films, they get us to kind of like to sympathize a bit or a lot with the stalker character until we see him like really come out there and become violent, like right at the end type of thing. But they don't do that here. We do get like, he does come off as a sympathetic character at first, but they quickly, they hit it in the high gear by having them come like coming into our house. That's another great film, by the way. And just like start like literally like kind of almost mounting her on her couch, not only like sexual, and like taking pictures of her, and excited when when she's in terror. And this is early on in the film. This happens. So it really makes the point of really nailing home what the stalking experience can be like and how terrifying that can be. So beyond, I said there's interesting names behind the camera as well, and it wasn't just David Schmoller that I was talking about. No, this is the music is done by Lalo Schifrin, who is an incredible musician. Does great scores. You'll know his son from directing the movie Abominable, and he does the score for that as well. There is Frank Capra Jr. is one of the producers on this. Also, we have Chuck Russell, who would go on, of course, to do Nightmare on Elm Street 3 and The Blob, which is coming out soon from Scream Factory. Not only that, there's a little guy like that's working on like behind the scenes on this as well that you might know, whose name is Frank Darabont. So yes, Frank Darabont from The Mist, from Walking Dead, worked on this. Like the movie before, I think was Hell Night. They worked, him and Chuck Russell, and they were kind of like a package deal. They came on this film as well. Frank Darabont, as it was apparently a huge klutz, and he caused like some sort of like accident on Hell Night, and then they were shooting in this mall like for the first time. This mall had never been shot in before. Like it was a big deal to get the mall. Somehow Frank Darabont like hit a cord and cut the power at the mall. And only apparently the way that Frank Darabont can do. This is an incredibly fun film to watch. It is really good. I strongly recommend you check it out. I do recommend that you get it in your collection. The features on here are incredible. You're going to want this one, Indy. The features are great. There's a great interview with Morgan Fairchild. There's another fantastic interview with Andrew Stevens. The best interview hey Danny, in my opinion, was Bruce Cohen Curtis's interview. There is a commentary on her as well. There's a Remembering the Seduction featurette, and Remember the Locations and production featurette, and there's a couple others. But it is a great film. Let you see the inside. So this is from the Morgan Fairchild in the bathtub scene. I didn't get the November package. I'm going to get it when the sale happens. I am going for the 4K. And I recommend anybody here that's remotely interested in 4K or wants some 4K releases coming in the future from Vinegar Syndrome, or wants to future-proof for their movie library, grab that 4K Blu-ray disc upgrade for Tammy the T-Rex. You're going to kick yourself if you don't. Imagine if this is the only one that they do and you don't get it. This is the only 4K that they ever end up doing. Like I say, it doesn't work out as well as they want it to do. But you got it. You got the very first 4K. Who knows? Maybe the only for you, but at least you got the very first 4K that Vinegar Syndrome ever did. You're like, they wish this. Check this out. Trust me. But that is The Seduction. It is a great film. I 110% recommend this. It is tense. There's an amazing scene where he is hiding in her house. Basically, he buys this music box that he saw her looking at and tries to give it to her. And by this time, he's terrorized her a lot. So they're at a mall, and she knocks it out of his hand. She throws it down, and it breaks. So he goes into her apartment, and he's in there, and he rips her and her boyfriend's picture with only her on it, and he puts it into the music box, and he hides in her closet. So she comes home, and she starts to get ready to take a bath, and we see the music box there. We know the picture's there. She's getting ready. She's right next to it. He is in the closet, and she's slowly undressing, and he's sweating, and there's a nice bit of, you're wondering, is she going to turn her head? Is she going to see the music box? Is he going to come out? What exactly is going to happen? And as she undresses, he begins to sweat profusely and starts to unbutton his shirt, and watch the movie to find out what happens. Yep, Indy. Vinegar Syndrome is doing the first 4K. They are beating Scream Factory, Criterion, Arrow Video to doing 4K. And that, my friend, that's epic. That is epic. And Ryan, I do apologize that I didn't get back to you much recently, but work has been insane, and I still have plans for us. So, well, I just talked about Dawes, this movie here, which you need to have in your collection. I'm not joking. This is really good. This is way better than I thought, actually. I want to get more Vinegar Syndrome. I really do. I'm on a kick recently watching a lot of Vinegar Syndrome stuff. Oh, sorry, Scream Factory. I want Vinegar Syndrome as well. Never heard of it? The first film Dawes ever to deal with stalking. You like knew Morgan Fairchild, you're gonna like it. But Andrew Stevens is extremely creepy in this. He does a great job. Great cast. Chuck Russell and Frank Darabont worked on it too. Yeah, I know. Vinegar Syndrome had Synapse, beat out Criterion and Arrow. they went down that road first. And you know, credit where credit's due. Although I'm not a fan of Hannibal, the film that much. I'll probably buy it anyway down the road because it's 4K, just to up my 4K horror collection. But Kino, like, put out Hannibal in 4K, so give him credit for that. But Vinegar Syndrome is the one that's big, making definitely the biggest risk when it comes to this, and they're going all in. They're doing with Tammy the T-Rex, and I think that's awesome. Anybody that was here yesterday know I was extremely excited about it. I've got a question for you guys. Vinegar Syndrome's been putting a lot of horror recently. They put out, they put out like some of their adult stuff as well. Now, the one thing that they're missing on, that they've only put out 2 of so far as I can remember. Now, Indy will know a little bit better because he has a few more Vinegars, he's more Vinegar Syndrome than me, is they don't have a lot of erotic thrillers. They put out Party Line, which I still have to get, and they put out In the Cold of the Night, in the Heat, whatever it's called. I can't remember the name of the film. But the cover was so nondescript that I did not realize that that was a Shannon Tweed erotic thriller. Because I can tell you, as a resident Newfoundlander, where Shannon Tweed is from, by the way, and a fervent fan of erotic thrillers, I would have bought that. Like, that would have been like almost like a day one purchase for me. But I found out after I bought my movies from the Vinegar Syndrome sale. So I'm waiting for this sale. I definitely want to get that. The Fan is actually just came out. Yeah, that's a really good film as well. That's also an early Stalker film. Came in a couple years after The Seduction, I think. I think so. And I do remember that film. And The Cold of the Night, thank you. Now, I think that the erotic thriller genre, movies like Body Chemistry, the series Night Eyes, which I talk about here on a lot, the Scorn series of films, Friend of the Family, those type things, those are severely underrepresented. Now, I was on a forum site, which we are going to know. I would love to imagine Shannon Tweed in 4K. And somebody said, and I gotta kind of, I'm going to paraphrase it because I'm not going to quote, I won't be able to quote it exactly, that they said erotic thrillers won't sell. They're not very good. They're almost like Lifetime films. And I'm thinking, what erotic thriller have you been watching that is like a Lifetime film? How bad are the erotic thrillers that you watch that have been, that are like Lifetime films? But I think that Vinegar Syndrome should, Snake of June. Oh, I got to check that out. 2002. That's a little late for me in the erotic thriller genre. I usually stick towards the 90s, but I will check that out. Oh, you read that? Did you? Yeah, I was like, I'm not the only person who read that. I was like, I couldn't believe it. And to go on and say, those big budget movies, they rip off those low budget erotic thrillers. It doesn't usually, no, the low budget movies rip off the big budget erotic thrillers. And sometimes, but often, some of those big budget films come about because of like low budget success. and things that are noticed. But for me, Shannon Tweed, Shannon Murray, Tane McClure, Lisa Pacia, is that how it's pronounced? You know, the girl from Body Chemistry. Top flight for these type of films. I look for them when I look towards the erotic thriller genre. Unfortunately, most of the erotic thrillers that I find are on VHS. I'm not able to find many that are on DVD. When I do, it's usually some of the really, really low rent ones. Often they go to print before you're able to get them. Beyond you. Cool choices. Deadly Spawn is like a super cool. It's been a long time since I've seen it. You know, I don't have a DVD of Deadly Spawn, so I'm pretty sure the last time I saw it, Return Deadly Spawn, right, was back in the big box VHS days. It's kind of like it's a cheesy monster flick. It's like super low budget, but it's fun. But who here thinks that erotic thrillers need more representation? I want like yays for this. Perfect. I guess the Angel set is not an erotic thriller set, but I guess it's kind of close. Like it's an action thriller action with some eroticism in it. But I want actual erotic thrillers like to come out. I want to see an erotic thriller set come out from Vinegar Syndrome. I want to get some. I want to see some. I want to see the Scorn series. I want to see the Scorn on Blu-ray. If you haven't seen the Scorn movies, just Google them. Trust me, they're cool. The body chemistry ones were extremely well done, and dealt with a different type of a different type. There's an intensity to those films. Who here knows the body chemistry films? I knew you would, Indy. That was kind of a given. I knew you. So who here has watched or know what the body chemistry films are? I think there's 4 of them, if I'm correct. Yeah, 4. Because the first 2, you don't? Okay, the first 2 star Lisa Pacia, and she's recast. I think she's doing something else in parts 3 and 4, and I think then Shannon Tweed takes over. Now, when Shannon Tweed takes over, there is a considerable, surprisingly, taming of those films. Danny knows them. So they deal with like the first one deals with a psychiatrist and psychologist and Mark Singer, who's this like and they're working on an experiment together, like kind of like a socio-sexual type of experiment is what she's working on at this at this office, and he starts to have an affair with her. But there's an intensity, and it amps up, and the intensity of the affair and the violence of it keeps amping up throughout it. It's very unique in the way that's done, and it deals with an aspect of like I guess of of sexuality that really wasn't being looked at that period. I don't really think not in mainstream. Anyway, and it's definitely worth checking out. Mark Singer's in the first one. Gregory Harrison is in part 2. I don't remember who's in parts 3 and 4. I know Andrew Stevens is one of them. I think Andrew Stevens, and if I'm right, I think Morgan Fairchild plays his wife. And because they're doing a movie, like he's a producer, and they're doing a movie on the character now being played by Shannon Tweed, who murders happen around. And director definitely does. I'm serious. There's some great stuff out there. I went through a phase in the 90s when I went through a Cynthia Rothrock phase. I watched every Cynthia Rothrock you could imagine. And around the same time, I started watching erotic thrillers, like really getting into them and actually studying them. I wanted to, and this is full disclosure, I wanted to write one. I wanted to make one. I was very interested in writing something in that ilk. I've always been fascinated with that. Yeah, but our American stuff is some of it is so cool, and some of it's just so, you know. You just got to see it to believe it. But the Lady Dragon stuff's awesome. Richard Norton, yes. Australian actor Richard Norton, who acts in a lot of Cynthia Rothrock films. Sometimes he's her partner. Sometimes he's a vicious villain trying to kill her. You never know with Richard Norton what you're going to get from one movie to the next. And if you haven't seen Cynthia Rothrock, then you've probably seen Jackie Chan, and he's the villain in a Jackie Chan film called Mr. Nice Guy, which is about a cook. But trust me, you've seen Richard Norton in something, even if it was an Expendables film. You've seen him. Yeah, I know. I've been meaning to get that book, and I can't find it. I'm gonna check on Amazon. Is it expensive? As far as I know, that is the definitive book on erotic thrillers, right? That's the only one that really has dealt with it. Because I also thought, like, I wanted to write a text on films. The five you should check it besides Body Chemistry. Night Eyes. Check out the Night Eyes films starring Andrew Stevens. They're really well done. There's four of them. Andrew Stevens stars in three, and he kind of guests in the first one. Jeff Trachta acts in the fourth one. Also check out Scorned, which has I think Shannon Tweed in the first one, maybe, and Tane McClure in the second. Tane McClure is the name you're going to come across. Fernando Quesada. Guys, where can you get what's the name of the company again, where you can get a good, cheap region-free Blu-ray player? I know you guys know. I think it's 220 Electronics, right? I think that's the place. Scorned. Friend of the family, actually. And of course, you want like a mainstream, Poison Ivy. If you don't have that set, definitely pick that up. But let me get back. I'm going to do a video on like erotic thrillers, like really kind of deep dive into them. And I will give you a whole list then, ones that I've seen, because I have seen, I've seen a lot of them. I wanted to write one, and when I want to write something, I deep search. Conexploitation. I wanted to write a book on Conexploitation. I'm gonna check. I got a Kobo. I don't have a Kindle, but I'll check. And then I wanted to do a book on erotic thrillers, so I started to research, watch everything I could. Though some are always better than the others, of course. Like in every genre, you got your low-grade horror, you got your high-grade horror, you got your in-between, just kind of fun popcorn horror. Erotic thrillers are kind of like that. But unlike some people, I think even a really bad erotic thriller can be kind of fun. They have put out a couple on Vinegar Syndrome that, like, in the early ones. There was a Linnea Quigley double feature that came out, and one of those, not the first one on the set, but the second one, is definitely like a really low budget erotic thriller. Friend of the family. Yeah. I know that was Shannon Worry in one of the Friend of the Family films? I'm pretty sure Tane McClure was. And I'm not like making up the names, guys. Those really are the names. Those are names to look for, by the way, when you're looking at stuff like that. Of course, there's Julie Strain, who did a few, but she did more like the kind of the action-y type stuff, and some of the more not the. I'm trying to think. Did Julie Strain really do much in the erotic thriller itself? I don't know if I have seen Freeze Me, Amy. I may check that out. I'm going to put it on my list. Lisa Boyle, right? Is it Boyle? Was another one that actress that did a few of those. Carrie Wurr, who a lot of people know from shows like Sliders and like a lot of sci-fi TV shows. She started out doing erotic thrillers as well. There's a few that actually did that stuff, and of course there's all the Zalman King stuff that's out there. Actor turned softcore erotic auteur. Zalman King of Brought the Red Shoe Diaries, among other things, and also played like psychos in films. So he's had a very varied career. But reading that today, I was at work and I was reading the on a forum site, which I can't was you can't sign into at work, not anything like that, but you can just read it. Um, and I was reading, and I was so frustrated by what the guy was saying that I wanted to hit my head against the computer. I really did. and I'm and I was thinking, please, please God, please Vinegar Syndrome, do not take anything that this person says seriously, because people that actually buy your stuff want to buy these films. So, here's my go to you guys. Let Vincent know if you tweet, if you use the Twitter machine, as Taz would say, tweet Vinegar Syndrome and let them know you want erotic thrillers. You want some Shannon Tweed and Shannon Worry, and some body chemistry in your life, in nice Blu-ray or 4K high def, which I'm going to do later on, by the way. Let them know that the films are wanted, because that's how they know what we want. Is we tweet them, we go onto forum sites, we buy them, we let them know. It is for some of them. I mean, you can find them through as a nefarious means, which means online. But a lot of them are either in print or everything can be found online, my friend. But I'm a physical media guy, so I have, like, when I first went online, back when there was like a bunch. Remember all those like torrent sites type thing. I was one of those geeky people that wouldn't torrent very much because I wanted to own the movie and I felt guilty. That's me. I want to own the movie. So back in the day, like, there were, like Daz is actually saying right now, there used to be some actual good place where you could actually find stuff. So I did have a few, and I burnt them off onto these discs type thing, and and those discs don't last, by the way. So anybody that ever torrents those things, they rot, they go bad. They go bad quickly, actually, because usually when people like get movies offline, they're grabbing the spindle of disc wherever they can, and a lot of those just aren't, you buying by the hundred, not always quality. So at that point, I used to watch a lot of them, and as I would buy some, as things would come out on like DVD and stuff like that, I would like replace them. Then I felt good about myself because I actually bought the film, and eventually I just gave away all that stuff, and I've got, obviously, as you can tell, physical media, FTW for me, right? So right now I'm wanting to see those stuff again. I want to get back and do that stuff. Let's see. If you can, definitely recommend it. Body chemistry ones are good. I'm trying to see who's in Scorned. Friend of the Family is actually one of the, like, I guess still raunchy, but it's kind of tamer compared to, like, as in like the violent way. When I say Scorned, by the way, I mean the old Scorned, not the Billy Zane film that came out recently. Scorned had Shannon Tweed, and Scorned 2 had Tane McClure. And she was kind of like the actress that was like kind of chosen to be like the next Shannon Tweed. These are names to look for: Tane McClure, Andrew Stevens, John McCook, actually, who's on a show called Bold and the Beautiful, which, if you don't know, I'm sure one of your spouses knows it. There's actors that you would see come up all the time. So am I, Indy. I've pretty much ensured that I'm going to be grabbing that November package if I got the cash. A lot of people, JJ, I know, are like that. My kids are like that. Scorned, number 1 is Shannon Tweed, and Scorned 2 is Tane McClure. If you look at both the actresses, there are similarities. I think Tane was a little bit more. As much as Shannon Tweed is known for her erotic thrillers, she's known basically not because of like, well, she does have a fantastic figure, but she's actually a good actress, and she's got the ice cold, character down pretty much pat, but some of hers are actually tamer compared to other people. Grassy for you. I wish I could. Well, not the grassy thing, but like afford it. I'm going to be hopefully I want to get the November package and finally pick up Party Line and the Shannon Tweed one, which whose name I can never remember. Joan Severance was incredible too. Oh, that's a good one. Actually, thank you. There, Daz. That's a couple those are a couple good. Joan Severance was really good in those things. Mimi Rogers did a couple too. Come to think of it. I love the Friday the 13th series. It was originally going to be called Friday's Curse, and I think it was called Friday's Curse in some places, but they wanted to like capitalize on the whole Friday the 13th aspect of it. They are intended to tie it into the films by having Jason's mask be cursed, and at one point, but that never came through. But I've always been a really big fan of it. There's actually some really great directors like David Cronenberg and Adam McGowan and people like that worked on that series. They did like episodes, like really good episodes. So if you haven't seen us, it's an excellent show. I think it's better before the other guy. Hey, Michael, welcome. Before the second guy comes in. But the second guy, I think his name is Johnny. His character's name grew on me. And there's an episode, kind of a black and white episode, where he goes back into the old South during the time of like lynchings and clans and stuff like that. In an old car, which is really really good. Oh yeah, Cronenberg definitely worked on it. Yeah, that one's basically almost done, almost entirely, like with Brian Brown massaging her. Almost the entirety of the film with like some flashbacks and stuff like that. I think there's a sequel to that one actually. It's one of the slower moving ones. It's not one of the better ones, but if you like to see Mimi Rogers, it's better that way, because Mimi Rogers is utterly gorgeous. I'm surprised that too. It doesn't have a Blu-ray. That's more mainstream actually. You watch anything with Brian Brown? Brian Brown is so cool, obviously, that I remember going to see Cocktail, and I like Tom Cruise, who's pretty good, but I was a bigger Brian Brown fan. And the FX movies are awesome. I love those. I remember getting bottles. And tell me if you're a kid, if you ever did, like, fess up, be honest. If you ever saw the movie Cocktail when you were a kid or when you were younger, and you tried to juggle the bottles. Because I did that, and I actually got pretty good at it. At one point, I could have definitely worked a bar there alongside Brian Brown and Tom Cruise. See, even if something makes me sound silly or stupid, I'm going to fess up. I'm going to be honest with you guys. You did too? It takes a while. And the key is in the... Do you know the titles? You mean for Wenger syndrome? They said that one is Los Angeles, one is New York, in the secret titles, but they're not talking about the director or the producer. So that leads some people to think that one of them is going to be a Troma release, which it'll depend. I mean, I like Troma, I really do, but I don't know if there's a lot of Troma releases that are still coming out, that are left to come out, that I'm really excited about. That are like, and it's going to be cheaper for me to buy the package than it is. Actually, I have both versions. I'm a huge Tenebrae fan. I got 4 copies of Tenebrae. I got 3. I got a Blu-ray from. I got a DVD from Arrow. I got it on Blu-ray from Arrow. I actually got 2 different Blu-rays of Arrow. So Tenebrae, and I got the Synapse Steelbook for Tenebrae. It's my favorite Argento film. Favorite Argento film of all time, actually. Sorry. But your comments aren't coming up there, so I got to look here. You're calling that Psycho Cop? I go back and forth, but I like them both. They, I just don't want a rabid grannies or anything like that coming up from Vinegar Syndrome. Like, please no. Troma puts out a lot of stuff that's really worth grabbing, and Troma puts out a lot of stuff that's really worth grabbing on DVD for $5. You go back and forth. Number 2, Ryan. You know it's number 1. What's your number 1? I got a question. I want to see who answers this. Argento, Fulci. If somebody came, they'd never seen Argento or Fulci before, and you had to recommend one movie for them from each of those people. One Argento movie, one Fulci movie. Sergio Martino, hey, IB. Hey, and one Martino movie. Which ones would you recommend? Mark for Suspiria. Great film. Jessica Harper. Tenebrae and Don't Torture Duckling. AME was right there right away. Come on, guys. Don't let AME be the only person that says. Then those are great choices, by the way. You had to do one film. For me, Tenebrae for Argento. But Fulci is harder because he does different genres. See the Living Dead, good one. So I'm going to want to get people to watch Fulci and maybe watch him again. So I could pick something like The Beyond. But I'm going to go with one that's really going to test it a bit. And I'm going to say New York Ripper. And rather than pick Tenebrae, which is my favorite, which I want them to get to and enjoy, I'm going to pick Deep Red because I think, or Profondo Rosso, if you want to call it that. Opera's a great one. I love opera. It has an odd ending, but I love it. I am kidding. I don't know if I'm allergic to something, but my eyes itchy like crazy. I was allergic to the McDonald's ate tonight. New York Ripper and Tenebrae. See, New York Ripper and Tenebrae were my first thoughts. Then I said, okay, I'm going to go with some different stuff to like go out there. It is hard. I mean, if I was to go by like one of Fulci's like better later films, it's not even horror. It's Devil's Honey. It's a great movie, but it's not horror at all. Hey, Damaged. Don't Torture Duckling, Tenebrae. Strange Voice. Oh, we didn't do Martino. Strange Voice from Mrs. Ward. 110%. I agree with that. I love all of Martino's stuff. I really think he's a fantastic director that's underrated. But if I'm going to pick any of his films, there's Torso, there's Don't Torture Duckling, there's Lizard in One's Skin. No, that's Fulci actually. But I got them confused for a second. But I am picking Strange Vice of Miss Ward. It is a great film, and it has some of the greats of the Italian giallo genre in it, including Edwidge Finch and I think George Hilton. Suspicious Death of a Minor. I haven't seen that one in a long time, IB. So that's the one. That's the only reason I wouldn't go with that one, like right away, because I don't remember it. To be completely blunt with you, like that's one I got to buy. I recently bought Case of Scorpion's Tail, but Suspicious Death of a Minor is the one that's like missing from my collection that I got to get. Has anybody heard anything about Your Vice is Locked Room and Only I Have the Key is an amazing, amazing film. She is. She really is. I cannot deny that. Has anybody heard anything about Maribava and Arrow? Is that over? Oh, Lizard and Woman's Skin is amazing. And definitely gets more than a nod. I just had to pick one. So, but you know how many times I watched that movie? Mon Macabre killed it with that one. Umberto Lenzi is one of your favorite directors? Indy, okay. Umberto Lenzi. You got to pick a movie from him. What do you tell people to watch to get them into Umberto Lenzi? I don't hear a lot of people say Lenzi, and I think he's really good. So I love that answer. So to get somebody into Lenzi, what movie do you tell them to watch? Yeah, I'm wondering about that too, actually, with the Arrow Bavastas ending this year. I wonder if they're going to be like have a big, blowout with all their Bav stuff near the end. Mondo's really good, and I'm always recommending like Mondo as a company. They do a lot of really good stuff. I didn't get anything from their last sale. I just couldn't afford it at the time. But I'm glad with the stuff that I got. I just grabbed a couple as you guys saw, some Scream Factory titles. There's certain Scream Factory titles that I want to grab before they go to print. I'm still peeved that I didn't get the Carrie double feature on Madman. Oh man, am I peeved about that. I'm still waiting for your book. Hey, and ready? By the way, did you go down to any of the like Cinema One to check out and see if any of those titles were there? Nightmare Beach. I got that upstairs. Actually, I haven't watched that one since I got it yet. It's been a long time since I've seen it. Almost Human. Was that in Berto Lenzi? Because that is a great film. I didn't pick up on it. Oh, Scream Factory and Shout Factory. All the titles I got back there are like Scream Factory. Like Shout Factory is the parent company. Basically, tiny bit of history lesson. There was a company before Shout Factory called Rhino, and Rhino used to put a lot of Mystery Science Theater 3000 stuff. So, oh yeah, just go to shoutfactory.com, I think, and you'll trust me. It's a lot of stuff. You will get addicted. Ooh, I got to check on some of that stuff. Is there a new list yet? So eventually, Rhino went out of the business, and some of their stuff got bought up by Shout Factory, including Mystery Science Theater, and they had planned something called the Film Crew with the Mystery Science Theater guys, and he had a character called Mr. Rhino and all that, and like who was some movies movies that deserve like riff commentaries, but they had to switch it around, and when it came over to Shout Factory and changed it from Mr. Rhino to another character's name. And after Shout Factory started doing Roger Corman collection, became really popular with that, and eventually branched off to doing Scream Factory, which is their horror label. Started dealing with a lot of MGM titles. Now a lot of those are going into print right now. So people are rushing to grab the titles that are going into print and trying to guess what the next titles that are going into print are before they they're gone. Terror Train and Town Dread Sundown, nice. I love both those films. You got one of the last. Amityville Horror was a great one. No, they do a lot of both. Not so much. They do some B horror, but they do like mainstream stuff like a lot of John Carpenter's films. Not just Halloween, but things like Assault on Precinct 13, They Live, the RoboCop 2 and 3. They put it in the Teen Wolf films. So and like it's a lot of good horror, a lot of good slasher stuff. I haven't seen that. I didn't even know they existed. Andy, there's a documentary on Lenzi. I definitely want to see that. Maybe it's on one of the discs that's put out by one of the Lenzi discs. I don't actually Northern Lights. I don't have a copy of the car myself either. I don't think so. But I'll keep an eye out for you. See if I see it. I don't have a lot of places around here, but if I go to town, I will. I have actually. Uh, I've been trying to think. I've been thinking ahead because I got a lot of the titles that are in that list that that I that I told you about. That I told all you guys about. But so I'm lucky that way. Now I missed out on some. The ones that aren't around here. I'm Madman. I missed out on the Carrie 2002 and Carrie 2 The Rage. I missed out on that one. Um, but I grabbed Hackers because I needed that. I know I need to get Hackers, and that's not even Scream Factory, it's Shout Factory, and I grabbed. I'm randomly grabbing the MGM the releases that I know are MGM because I'm worried they're going to go to print, or ones that I think I'm worried about stuff. Even some of the newer stuff like Dreamscape and stuff. I'm concerned about that, so I'm grabbing the titles that I think are related to those companies. But I will in Northern, if I hear anything, if I see it anywhere, I'll let you know. I have seen a few of them, but I haven't seen a lot, like the shorts. Horror shorts freak me out. Nothing scares me more than a damn good horror short. Uh, I cannot watch Lights Out. Again, the movie, yes, the feature length 90-minute movie, Lights Out, I can watch that in the day, in the night, doesn't matter. Can I watch Lights Out this short? Again, hell no, I can't. I watched it, it freaked me out, can't watch it again. There's also one, and I don't remember the name of this one, but it kills me. It's one about a girl who, she's home in bed. This is going to give me nightmares tonight. I'm doing this for you guys. Just know that. Um, and she gets a call from her husband, who's pretty much telling her that he's sorry he's late. He's not home. He wasn't home. He's downstairs at the door. Forgot his key. Can she let him in? The only problem is someone is sleeping right next to her in the bed. And then the camera pans around to show who's sleeping next to her in the bed. And I didn't sleep for 3 days. That's the true story. So I can be kind of wimpy when it comes to some of that stuff. Not going to lie. Gore doesn't bother me, that type of stuff. I never thought about that in Ready. Maybe, actually. I can't remember what it's called, but it freaks me out. Uh, I'm sure somebody here knows what it is. And it's a popular meme online. It's like the picture of the creature, kind of like with its head, like kind of pointing it from the bed sheets, like, and the creature looks terrifying, and in my opinion, especially within the context of the short. See, the thing about shorts is you can take like a kernel, like an idea, just the scare part of a film. You're not like putting a whole film around it. You're just condensing the scariest aspect into like a very short film, and that can have its own unique style of terrifying to it. It takes a lot, like in my opinion, to do a really good, really terrifying, really stick with you short. But when it's done right, when it's done incredibly well, it's amazing. It's worse. No. The Grudge children are tame compared to this thing, in my not some opinion. Hey, Turbinator, like the penguin, makes me think of Pengu. Because I'm a child and I know all these characters. Well, I have two kids. Like, see some of these, I'm looking at them and I'm thinking, I'm so not watching these any time in the near future. I'm on my own for a month. So yeah, that ain't gonna happen. But well, the thing is, if the power goes out like Kathy's, like lost the power a lot, you can always like do a double feature in another day and kind of like do it that way. Uh, I've probably gone over my 31 at this point, but I don't talk about every film on here. Dan, you gone way over 31. The most important thing to me is like it's not just watching a film, which I do anyway, but is trying to make sure I get my 31 live videos done this month every day. So no, if it doesn't matter if I'm sick, if I'm tired, um, it, I want to make sure every day I'm here to do a video for the entire 31 days of October live. I made that promise. Damn it, I'm gonna try and get. I'm keeping that promise. Oh, dude, you're gonna be so happy with American Horror Story 1984. Focus on Hammer's got some great stuff. Did you do the Quatermass films? The great stuff, Quatermass. Dolomite. What's his synopsis of Dolomite? I didn't know that. I gotta check that out. The new Dolomite film. I know that's Eddie Murphy. I've got the Alien here, like 4K release, but I haven't watched it yet. Obviously, I've watched Alien many times, but I haven't watched the 4K release yet. And it was like super cheap to get too. It's really good. I actually really like the AHS 84. It's one of my favorite seasons. Really, see, I'm just the opposite. Um, I find that 84 for me has been one of the best seasons since Asylum. It's unpredictable in a way that I like, and not in a let's just throw everything at a wall type way. Unpredictability that did happen, like in a couple seasons of American Horror Story, where things didn't fit together. Uh, Everything fits. That's the genius. It's like like everything just seems to fit. Oh, I won't tell you anything. I promise. I did a mini. If you guys didn't check it out, I did a mini video last night. Ran for like 15 minutes long. Please check it out. It was kind of a bonus one where I actually talked about AHS 1984 and I didn't give anything away, but I had a short conversation about it and encouraged people to go check it out. I wanted to do more of the minis, but I try to be. Uh, Lady Gaga's not until Hotel actually. That's the like a fourth. That's the fifth season, I think. The Murder House is good. I thought that was pretty good. Asylum is excellent. Coven is fun. It's not horror, but it's like not really. There's horror in it, but it's fun. It's like witches meet X-Men type thing. The last two seasons, I haven't seen Apocalypse. My favorite Fulci film? I don't know, because it really depends. Uh, I'm gonna say I really I I love like New York Ripper, uh, House by the Cemetery too, and in very different ways. I love Murder Rock, and God, his early stuff's really good. Murder Rock, Don't Torture a Duckling. It's hard. I can't choose yet. I'll have to think about it. But that's a really great question. That's like Argento. I know right away. It's Tenebrae. Fulci. I got to decide. Without saying anything, Carlita, I know what you mean, but be open minded and just keep watching. Deborah Logan. I remember that one. That didn't that have the girl from All My Children, right? I don't go to the theater very often now, unfortunately. With my better half out of town, I can't. But I hear the latest is really good. That's Robin Pattinson, right? The guy that's going to be playing Batman. It's been recommended to me that it's supposed to be excellent. Dude, you can't not say Asylum, and you got to say Asylum. Oh, Freak Show is one I was iffy on. I like Twisty, and I like like when we find out like Twisty's origin, stuff like that. And I liked oh god, the girl. She plays the pinhead type character. Uh, her backstory told in that one was heartbreaking. Uh, that was some of the better storytelling with that type of stuff. I think was that last Jessica Lange one too. Freak Show wasn't it? Over the years, American Horror Stories had a tremendous amount of really really great actors. From Connie Britton, who was only in the first one, to like Jessica Lange, who pretty much stole the show, and Evan Peters, who also stole the show whenever they were on it. Is that really your least favorite? That's my favorite. I'm gonna win you over with that one. You're gonna make you watch it again sometime. You're gonna see the genius that is Asylum, because especially because what's the name of the killer again? Like oh, the killer's name. There's like this. He's got this creepy face. Asylum's your least favorite? Asylum's so good, and it's got the name game sequence, which comes at just the right time when it's got intense, it's got depressing, and all of a sudden there's this musical number. And you think it wouldn't work, but it works so well. Because you get to the point where you get this like these 2 minutes. Roanoke was the least actually. Where the song is really upbeat and stuff, but when the song gets over and you realize the crushing reality of what's going on, it's a heartbreaking moment. Maybe she deserved it, but still, it is. Joe Bob's Halloween Hootenanny. When does that start? Is that coming on soon? And with that, guys, I have to go and actually get some stuff ready for tomorrow. I got my because I have to work. It is tea time. I have to work tomorrow. I work on a Saturday. Yep, I love Eye of the Jury. I hope you liked it if you saw it because it's a really fun film. Armand Assante is great in it, and Barbara Carrera. Uh, yeah, unfortunately, the type of job I got, I don't have until like late January comes around. Uh, then I'm going to be working like on a sliding shift. Sundays are my only solid days off right now. I am Aaron. This is the Movie Library. You guys are the movie club. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for coming in. If you haven't watched the little 50-minute American Horror Story mini video bonus that I put on there, check it out. It's 50 minutes of fun. And I will see you soon. Tomorrow we're going to talk again. And what are we going to talk about? Come back and find out. Have a great night, guys.